So Section A, all comes down to this match here that we're going to televise today between Altona, the most successful club in Saturday champion of state pennant history. They won 6 of the 21 runnings of this event have been won by Altona. The champions this year of Taylor Bowles Saturday Premier Division in Melbourne Metropolitan Pennant. And they take on Buninyong from Central Victoria. Now, Buninyong have only won 1 of their 4 matches so far, but will be playing for pride. Buninyong, it's about 10 Ks out of Ballarat. And a very strong club in that competition. Very upwardly mobile club too. They've spent a lot of time developing and boosting their membership over the last few years. And they have become a real powerhouse in that particular competition. And Graham Bridge, it should be a fantastic match, but in reality, as we have mentioned, Altona win this, everything else is pretty much academic. They will go through the grand final, top Section A.
Yes, Guy, that's the simple solution for Altona. Just a win. They're only going to get over the line by 1 shot on the aggregate, and they're playing this afternoon, and they'll get a chance to back up again on the beautiful 3 rinks here that we've used over the last couple of days, which is, it's so kind to put a bowl down on. It's run 15.5 seconds consistently each day. Even draw on both sides of the green. I've had a couple down on each of the rinks, and they're very, very even. Really comes down to the test of skill here and concentration. And with a star-studded lineup that Altona have got, they would start a very, very firm favourite. But as you said earlier, Buninyong playing for pride. They've been competitive in a couple of their games. Kerrang knocking off Altona yesterday afternoon certainly opened up the section. And I think that you might see a pretty focused Altona this morning wanting to get into that final. And good luck to them if they do. They've got quite a number of players in this side who are interstate or former interstate representatives. We've got an international representative in there in Lenny Callis, Maltese international. So yes, it'll be difficult to see if all the Altona players play to the average of their ability. The Buninyong guys will have to play out of their skins, games of their lives. So, good morning to everybody there in Ballarat, having a look in. I hope everybody in Buninyong's tuned in to see your Warriors performing. And who knows, it might be a case of the 300 guy. Take it all on, nothing to lose, and I think we're in for a crackerjack game. And be very, very mindful of the fact that the back end of Altona is extremely strong, skippers and thirds. They're all very well accomplished players. So looking forward to this, because I really hope someone turns it on here and blankets the jack. Some of the leads get on quick and they'll set the pattern of play. If the leaders are on, they'll make for a great spectacle. So bring it on.
It should be a fantastic match, but that said, and you know, with everything said, Kerrang did knock off Altona yesterday, and as a result, Altona have made some changes to their lineups that we are going to see today. And as Bridgie alluded to, they are very, very strong. The thirds and skips are very strong. It gives them a few luxuries that, in fact, they are the only club within this competition that probably have the luxury to do what they've been able to do here. So we'll take you through the lineups for Altona. On rink 7, the lead will be Mick O'Neill, Brendan Barker. Dane McKinnon, who has been skipping, has been moved to 3rd, and Nathan Wilson, former Australian Open champion, and one of Australia's most accomplished bowlers, really. Nathan will step up and skip on rink 7. Rink 8, a couple of changes within that rink on rink 7, also on rink 8. Colin Davis, Dion Warnecke, Michael Vasico, and Brett Foley will skip there. So Michael Vasico comes in. I think he was an emergency for this match. So Michael comes in there. He'll play 3rd to Brett Foley. And the Maltese international, Lenny Callis, will lead on rink 9. Reed Chanter. Liam Garlick-Adams, former state player, a very talented player, as a 3rd there. And Brad Peck, who just a good, solid pennant skip, will be the skip on rink 9. They will be taking on, Nathan Wilson will be taking on Neil Innes from Buninyong. Brett Foley will be taking on Mick Story from Buninyong, and that will be the match that we will be concentrating on as part of this. And Brad Peck will take on Brian Wilcox. So very interesting competition coming up here again. Everything else that we're talking about is pretty much academic if Altona win. If they win this match, they top Section A, they're through to the afternoon's grand final. The 2 section winners proceed. Section B, pretty much everything hinges there on the match between Lakes Entrance and Queen's Gift, and we will be updating you probably every 10 ends or so. We'll be going around the grounds and keeping you abreast of what's going on, because we do have, in reality, 4 of our 6 sectionals are live matches.
And the other team that's not out of it is Shep Golf. Don't forget about Shep Golf in Section A, because they're tied on points with Kerrang, who've got 5. If Altona were to fall over here, that would open the section up if either of Kerrang or Shepparton Golf can win their match. And I just want to allude back to the fact, Guy, that 7 of the Altona 12 have interstate or better credentials.
Wow.
So, and Bradley Peck has been a Victorian representative and a Tasmanian representative over time. And have a look at, you won't be seeing him on the TV, but he is a very, very accomplished performer. Brett Foley, seasoned Victorian interstate rep, and Nathan Wilson, who's affectionately known as Dogger, he is one of the best that's going around in the game. So I think the skippers may have a telling part in this, but look, who knows how much pressure the Buninyong front end can put on, and the Buninyong back end as well. They may lift and may rise to this, because you always play your best bowls against better opposition. And they've got a real big test here, and as you said, Altona have been the major winners in this event over its 21-year history. Surprisingly, when you look through it, in the 21 years that the event has been staged, 16 times a metropolitan club has won this event. Altona 6, Melbourne 4 times, Clayton 3 times, Moonee Ponds twice. Huge investors in the game, Moonee Ponds, but they've only ever gotten 2 state titles out of their pennant. And the other metropolitan winner was Glen Ira McKinnon way back in 2005. And 5 times country winners. Geelong West were the first country team to win in 1999. Wodonga in 2004, and they've always been pretty solid as representatives of Ovens and Murray. Corowa Services, they won it, representing Ovens and Murray in 2006. Bendigo East, a memorable win, Bendigo East, in 2011. And the Grovers from Ocean Grove in 2013. But the Metropolitan Premier Division, mostly the winners have won that, have been the representatives at the state champion of Pennant. A lot of people come to play Metropolitan Pennant, so a lot of the best players going around in the state. It's the premier competition for Pennant, and with all those abundance of talent that they've got to choose from in some of these metropolitan clubs who do invest heavily in getting the best players to their clubs, they would want to be performing and winning the title. So, but the challenge is out there to any of the country teams. I always like to see the underdogs do well. It puts a lot of interest into the game. We'll just see how this goes today. We've got a club who've taken all before them, who are one of the stronger regional clubs in Lakes Entrance. They've won 4 out of their 4 games already this weekend in their section. They've only got a win this morning. As you said earlier, there's a 4-shot margin that applies in that Section B. I would be putting that completely out of my mind if I was going out as Lakes Entrance and go out to win the game, because that's that way then they're not trying to defend a very slender margin. That 4-shot margin that they do hold, that could be gone in a matter of 1 end. So
yep.
They've got to knuckle down and make every post a winner.
You win, you're through, Bridgie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that simple. You win, you're through, and that's the case for Lakes Entrance, and it's certainly the case here for Altona. Going back to what you were saying, my favourite quirky stat of Saturday champion of state pennant is that Altona have won 6 titles. Altona have won more than regional Victorian teams here at this competition.
Yeah,
regional Victorian teams have won 5. Altona have won 6, and that kind of shows you, I guess, how difficult it is for a country team to come and win this.
Yeah, and look, the hardest thing to do is win the Melbourne Metropolitan Premier Division because of the quality of the players and the abundance of talent in that competition. But as I said, it all comes down to on the day. And yesterday afternoon we saw Kerrang jump them early and maintain about a 10-shot margin for the entire game. So it can be done. The Black Ducks got pretty juiced up last night, I think, after that win. And they're still alive in the competition. So in all reality, if there is an upset here, they could still be alive in the comp. So
Okay, so we're underway here in our featured match. This is Altona versus Buninyong in Section A. And the rink that we'll be featuring here will be Mick Story of Buninyong taking on Brett Foley of Altona. You can see the two skips there. Brett Foley on the right-hand side with the hat. Mick Story in the green sleeveless jumper.
Andrew Goodson on the mat here, just looking to make a length correction. He had a reasonable line with his first bowl. Down pretty well here. That's a great shot. That is a brilliant bowl.
Absolute beauty. That's exactly what you want to get things going.
Yeah.
Now, just for those following along at home, just to take you through what you're seeing on your scoreboard now, the yellow box will be the featured rink that we're showing. So that will be the score of the match between Mick Story and Brett Foley. The white box is the aggregate score across the three rinks. For those not familiar with how Pennant works, it is the aggregate score across the three rinks. Each rink plays 15 ends. It is the cumulative score after 45 ends that determines who wins the match and who loses the match. It is a team game across the three rinks. So the white box will be the aggregate score across the three rinks. The yellow box will be the score of the actual rink that we're featuring, which is Story v Foley.
Colin Davis failed with his second bowl. He stayed on the forehand that he played his first on, but he actually dropped shorter. Peter Aldred putting a bowl down behind the jack. So at the moment, Buninyong have got one on the jack and both their other bowls behind, and Altona have two in front of the jack. Dean Warnecke. Very focused here. Lurking behind. No chance this jack is going to come forward. Peter Aldred just looking to make a couple of metres of adjustment. He's played a better bowl here. That's exactly where the jack will go if that shot bowl is touched. Another crisp start this morning along the Murray, Guy. It's beautiful to see the sun at 7 o'clock.
It certainly is. It's a beautiful part of the world. The weather's fantastic here. I'm reliably told there's more sunshine here on the Murray than there is on the Gold Coast in any given calendar year, and I believe them. And what I've seen so far, it's been fantastic. Brisk morning, but it'll warm up to a lovely day in the early 20s.
Great bowl from Dean Warnecke. That's a great shot.
Warnecke's absolutely put
actually got a touch on that jack then, and it didn't move. So, but his weight was just dead weight to the jack. It's a great second shot.
Talk about feathering the jack. It's a very light feather indeed.
Yes, Mick Story's very experienced player, Mick. Yes. That'll make it a little more difficult. If anything now, Brett Foley may be looking at getting Michael Visico. Just get around that. Just one down. Just not getting there.
Oh. That's a very pretty head, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a delicate head now, really, because if they do land on that bowl, the jack will move, but the weight that they play will determine how far the jack goes. And on this carpet, they're using the heavy-weighted jack. You'd only have to be touching that with a couple of feet of weight, and that jack would scoot out of bounds on that underneath side of the head. So the bowl cannot go off the jack without it moving the jack. So great camera work there from our guys from My Sport Live. I reckon we've got the boss up that end, Guy.
Yes.
Andrew
Weiss doing doing a fine
With
job
his
there.
camera shot there.
Giving you players' perspective as well as what they see.
Absolutely.
And that's really good.
Micah Fasico. Again, just grazing that bowl. If he was around that bowl, he had to sit on the bowl, and I think he would have played the right weight there to get that jack to only move a couple of inches behind Dean Warnecke's bowl, which would have been, you know, in an ideal position. Mick really doesn't have to go anywhere near this. He must force Brett to play the big shot and not make it any easier for him by widening the target or giving him a funnel or something to work off. Pretty laconic, Mick. He'll just walk up the green, pick up his bowl, have a look and execute.
It's amazing the different styles of skips that we've seen in all our televised match. Some are just so laid back they'd fall over. And others are very, very intense and right across. You're going to get a fairly different contrast, I think, between the two skips here, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, Mick's more casual than a lolly seller at the MCG, I reckon. Brett Foley having a lick of the lips, lick of the fingertips. And it's up to him to go down and turn this head over, switch it around. It's actually, Mick has moved that bowl, which makes that shot just a little easier now because he doesn't have to get around the bowl. He's got a perfect line into the jack there and into the little cluster around it. So he's very close here. Don't think he's got the weight. Just, look, 6 inches more weight and he was...
And he was there.
He's actually played a better bowl than he thinks here now, because if he gets that inside of that yellow bowl, he can actually turn the bowl off the jack without moving it now, because he's got a little bit of a cannon shot there. If I was Mick, I'd be very, very, very precise here, just trying to block in that little gap there and make it harder. Make it harder for Brett Foley. Got a little bit of weight on this. He doesn't want to touch anything. Okay. Well, we could see here a massive conversion if Brett Foley can just play that little split on the inside, or, sorry, outside edge of that yellow bowl to get the inside of Andrew Goodson's lead bowl and sit that out for 4 shots. It's on, and a player of Brett's capabilities, I'm anticipating that he can get this. He's in the area. He's in the area.
Oh, what a peach, Brett Foley.
4 shots. That,
how about that?
I got to say, Guy, that was just poetry in motion.
That's as good as you're going to see.
That's as good as you'll see.
That is a seriously good shot. Well, that's player of the day worthy.
Well, at the first end.
First end, that is going to be hard to top for the duration of this coverage. 1 down to 4 up. Brett Foley, that's huge. Player of the day is a prize pack from our friends at Anytime Fitness and My Sport Live to be given to what we judge to be the player of the day. Yesterday it was David Dawes from Shepparton Golf. Fantastic shot. Went, or two fantastic shots actually. Went from 7 down to 1 down to 4 up. It was an extraordinary shot, and David will be getting a prize pack from Anytime Fitness, and I would suggest to you that Brett Foley is right in the mix for one of those today on the evidence we've just seen.
On that first bowl, on that first end with that last bowl, an absolute bolter. And it's nice when they get what you think they're going for, Guy.
You called it, Bridget.
Because you don't get egg on your face then.
Yeah, you absolutely called it, and yeah, and you also backed him in to get it too, which yeah, fair enough. Look, brilliant. So Altona off to a good start here. 4 to the good on Brett Foley's rink. I noticed that Brad Peck looks like he's picked up 2 in the opening end there. So 6-0 to Altona across the rinks, and that is a pretty good start. Nathan Wilson killed the first end there, so the guys have gone back to commence that first end again. So just a reminder here, the dead ends are replayed. It's 15 ends per rink. Dead ends are replayed, but there is a 2.5 hour time limit. So we time out at 2.5 hours. Bell will ring. You finish the end that you're on, and you're done. So yes, you can kill ends.
Big Bubba, Colin Davis, 2 great shots there. Colin Davis, a former winner of this event with Clayton Bowling Club. So Bubba made a change to go to Altona. And here he is again, featuring in what could potentially be another grand final appearance.
They've certainly started the right way, Altona. Reminder, they need to win this match. They win this, they finish top of Section A. Regardless of the other matches in play, they win, they're through.
Great shot here. Just for a half a roll. Andrew Goodson on the money there, making correction with his second. Dean Warnecke played a superb bowl on the first end to get a close second shot for Altona, which really set the head up for Brett Foley to convert at the end. He had to get it though. That's the, you know,
yeah, exactly.
Talking about it and getting it are two different things sometimes, but Dean Warnecke here, well-weighted bowl, finishing in the catching pen. Focus here on Peter Aldred from Buninyong. Nice forehand delivery. He's in the relative area. He's played a good bowl here. He's only got a touch. Yep, I think he's done it.
Done well. He's touched Andrew Goodson's bowl on.
Can you let me know when you're cutting?
That would appear to be holding shot at this stage.
Dean Warnecke's only got to play the same weight, but just on a bowl width, narrower line to come underneath, sit that brown bowl, fall back off onto the jack, or trail the jack clean around the corner for 3 shots. The sort of bowl that you really would love your second to play and set the head up. Just a little bit short of a gallop. I wouldn't be changing him, Mick. Yes, just keep him on the forehand. You can play a nice little sit shot there through the gap, or turn the brown bowl a little bit closer to the jack. Once again out on a good line, coming in on the high side. If he gets around this little pack here, he's played an absolute blinder of a shot. Yes, good bowl. Good bowl. Just a bit stiff that he grazed that blue bowl to turn that shot of Colin Davis's a little closer. But he's finished in the area where if the jack's poked out, that's where it may go. Michael Fasico homing in here.
Oh, he's in the zone.
Oh, that's a great shot.
Yeah.
He's made 2 at least. Shows the importance of that Peter Aldred bowl that he finished just behind those 2 blue ones. Otherwise, it would have been a massive trail for 4. And Brent Innes with the work to do here now. He's got to get in that gap to do any good. Oh, beautiful weight. Brett Foley likes Altona for 2. Michael Fasico, a little shimmy on his bowl as he lets it go. That's customary for him. Puts it out on a good line. Just fading and underneath the line, but there is a huge wall of 6 bowls there now that players have got to contest with. And Buninyong do have the outer bowl here on this forehand side in. Brett Innes looking to promote. I think he's close. Great shot.
Yep, he's
probably opened up the forehand now for Brett Foley to get in there. I don't think he'll play the backhand. He may, because there is a chance that he can just play a little tight of that Peter Aldred bowl that was turned over. He may wish to not leave anything out on the forehand. No, he's going to take the shot away. This is the difference sometimes you'll see in some of the more experienced players, Guy. They'll take the shot away from their opponents. Get in first, either get shot or get in the way and make it more difficult.
rather than take what would be the obvious shot.
Loves his forehand, Brett Foley. He's a great shot here. Great shot.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, a bit careless. I think he's down.
Do you think
He's shaved that jack sideways. I think that Mick Story is going to go up there a bit more relieved than what he would have been. But a lonely one in there This is a must. It's a must bowl to either get first shot, second shot, or a bowl to counter those Altona shots. We'll have to have a look here and see if Brett Foley uses weight to get rid of this bowl. He's swinging.
And there is weight.
He hasn't got it. So Buninyong can breathe a sigh, and with nothing else to come after this bowl, this is the cream, the icing on the cake here for Buninyong if they can add another shot. 2 feet of room around the jack to draw another. Yes, he's here. Nick Story, great bowl. That's 2 shots.
So Buninyong on the board.
3 shots.
3?
I think he
Yeah,
put, Brett Innes put 3 fingers up, I think.
Yeah, so there we go, 3 shots. We'll double check that for you, but we think it's 3. So mixed story on the board in quite some style. That's 3 to Buninyong.
Softens the blow of the first end where Brett Foley played a magnificent conversion shot with his last bowl. In effect, getting that 3 there as they've only dropped 1. So makes a big difference on the overall board, which is what they're playing for. This broadcast rink, roughly 36 metres in length. So from tee to tee, you'd be looking at a 32 metre maximum length end. This end here about 28. And a very comfortable 15.5 seconds in pace.
So Brad Peck up 3 to zip over Brian Wilcock. Brett Foley up 4 to 3 over Mick Story. And I believe that Neil Ennis is 1 up.
Great start
against
from
Nathan Wilson.
Colin Davis, Big Bubba.
Yep, so 7-4 to Altona. Just a reminder to folks who may not know where Buninyong is. Buninyong's about 10 k's out of Ballarat. And a very upwardly mobile club as well. They've done a lot of work there in terms of boosting membership, in terms of building themselves into a community hub.
And in a growth area of Ballarat too. And Ballarat Bowls Division doing a lot of good work in participation promotion. Ballarat Council investing heavily in facilities as well across the vast number of clubs that they do have in their division, but also ultra competitive in their Pennant bowls.
Buninyong have managed to straddle the line between the two. They're an upwardly mobile club who've done a lot to boost their participation, but they've also had the added spin-off of becoming a bit of a Pennant powerhouse up there too.
Good bowl from Peter Aldred there from Buninyong. He's just finished on the outside of Cole Davis's bowl, turned it only fractionally closer. But Dean Warnecke here on the backhand with a big chance here. Just turn Colin Davis's bowl over once, place it on front of the jack, or sit that Peter Aldred bowl for 2. He's come down and he's got the jack right on the nose, moved it 2 feet. That's a better shot. Those 3 bowls now in front of the jack, starting to build the fence. The secret at this level, guy, is you get punished for the amount of bad bowls you play. Anything that finishes within a metre of the jack, preferably only that 1 foot in front to a couple of feet behind, is going to feature in the count. Bowls that are in front of the jack cannot feature in the count. That's a good bowl. It's hard to see whether they're one or two down here, Buninyong, but Dean Warnecke switching over onto his forehand. He would have a good couple of feet to draw another shot. And the second's job, if you get it, consolidate with your next. Don't think that's going to get there. Probably made two by touching Cole Davis's bowl over. Readiness with a bit of work to do here on his backhand. Probably looking up the line here. Playing a positive weight to this head. Oh, very close there not to get an edge of that jack and poke it out a little bit to the sideline. Michael Fasico on his backhand. Michael played in the vicinity of 100 under-18 games for Victoria back in the day. He was a great underage player, great player at group and region level. Played with Michael a number of years ago at Sunbury Bowling Club, where he was one of the top grade skippers. Michael's probably not even in his 30s yet. He's been playing bowls for about 18 years.
Goodness. Certainly one of the first people to come through the under-18 level. We do a roaring under-18 program here in Victoria. It's throwing some very, very talented players through the mix. A couple of them in this Altona team. Obviously, you mentioned Michael Fasico. Dane McKinnon, I think, came through our under-18 program as well. And Dane's gone on to be a state player at open level. And
Liam Garlick-Adams through the under-18s.
Yes. Correct.
Brett Foley through the under-18s and under-25s. Hardest thing for Victoria is to try and keep them. I think that may be in the count. I think Mick Story's going to go to the other end here in a little bit of trouble.
So what are we seeing there? Possibly 4?
I think 3 for sure. I don't know the yellow bowl at the back would be doing anything. But Mick has got not a lot on here. He can try and draw around the blue bowl on the forehand, which I think is the harder shot. The better shot is to play the backhand and try and come down and land on one of those bowls that's a counter and reduce the pain. But talking about laid-back characters, mate, here's one.
I've got to say,
he doesn't show much. I've had some fun with Mick over the journey. He's a great competitor and a great bloke off the green too.
Well, I reckon we've got about 150 odd bowlers here. We've probably got 500, 600 people in total in the building today. And I reckon he's the most laid back of the lot. If not, he's a podium finisher.
Oh, Mick, he's just going to pull up a bit tight. He played the harder shot. I really think that's the lower percentage out of the 2 shots to try and dead draw it around it. He may have been better off just playing down there on the backhand to land on a bowl. There is a plant shot there on the backhand through the white speckle bowl, through the blue bowl, which would pick up the jack, but I don't know whether he sees that or not. There is a little gap between the 2 bowls, which does make it a little harder, but Brett Foley not going to be there. That's taken away the backhand shot. Your country needs you, Mick. Buninyong needs you. I think he's just poked this a little bit wide. Free hit here for Brett Foley. Can he do another 4 going in this direction? They got a 4 on the first end. Brett knows the importance of a free shot. He's going to fall into that pack again. Oh, he got through with a little graze on the bowl, so I'm expecting to see 4 fingers go up here. Four shots.
4 it is. So another big number. Brett Foley up 8-3 over Mick Story. It's 11-4 overall. Here, Brad Peck up 3-0 over Brian Wilcock. Neil Innes, single shot lead over Nathan Wilson. Though they've played another end in that, and they're yet to update the scoreboard, so that might change.
Just going to establish a little breakaway here. At least 10 up at the moment. Cole Davis has rolled this jack to about, I'd say about 29 metres. It's coming in on the right line, but just that metre short. It's up to you, Andrew. Another 3 on this end for Buninyong if they can do it. Coming back in this direction will halt the charge. Failing to capitalise on Cole Davis's first short bowl. He's put one down shorter. Very sweet delivery from a big man, Cole Davis. Very rhythmic. Turns his own closer, gets it into a better position. That bowler foot in front of the jack covering it always creates doubts for players on where the jack is, judging the length. This one's short. Failure to correct. Very good here from Warnecke. Great shot here.
Oh yeah, Warnecke's put it right in the...
Still has
right
it covered too. Still can't see the jack.
Yeah.
That bowl finishing as shot, just a bowl and a half in front of Jack high, but Peter Aldred has no view of the jack from that far end, from the Blair Street end. He's put it on a very good line though. Has he got the weight? Well, he's cut out the second shot, has he? No, he's fallen back. Still holding 2, Altona. This is where Warnecke, he plays smart. He comes in from the high side. Nothing for narrow here. All he can do if he's narrow is turn that Buninyong bowl in, which his skipper wouldn't like. Coming into shot now. He's got a very good grass on this. Great line. Great line. Not a counter, but in a very good position. Peter Aldred looking for only a foot. You can find 30 centimetres. He's played a ripper for his skip. He hasn't got the weight guy.
No, he's pull up a bit short there. The blue smoke.
Blue bowl, blue smoke. Too much room for Michael Vasico. I'm expecting him to draw another into that scoring area. The yellow bowls just seem to roll on forever. But that didn't get far enough. There's a little wall there now, making it harder to get in. Yeah, inside Mick Story's foot's a good second shot. Great shot. Great shot, Brett Innes. That's one down. That took the pain out.
It's fallen the right way too.
Yep. Picture of concentration there, Michael Fasico. Liking to have a little bit of a gallop down after this one. He likes it. Get onto his own, that's good.
And that is a very, very big wall around that jack.
Yes. The Chinese built the big wall to keep everybody out. Altona may employ a little bit of that here, but Buninyong don't want to add to the wall.
So can Brett Innes get around the Great Wall of Altona?
Oh, I think he's a tight guy. He needs a little bit of a miracle here. Hasn't got the weight either. He's just going to reach jack high. That's not the weight to play. Unless you're trying to, you know, just dead draw the shot. There is a plant shot there, if he can see it, on the yellow bowl through the dark blue. But to no benefit because Buninyong don't have a back bowl. And you're playing weight with no back bowls. Can be a recipe for disaster. Just wondering whether Brett Foley may just add another Pink Floyd bowl, another brick in the wall. See if he can make it a bit harder. Oh, I think he's just done that.
Yep, there it is. The wall just got bigger.
There is, that's horrible for Mick Story now. Yes, his forehand, he's going to look to just come down here, but he's too wide. It's a little bit of a desperation one, that one, because it must have looked horrible to him from that end.
And the jack is hiding amongst a sea of bowls.
It's a sea of heartache for him, isn't it, really?
It's a Great Wall of Altona.
Yeah, and that's another one there. If the jack's moved back, he's got to be very careful here, Mick. If this doesn't go right, he may see himself doing a handful of shots. He's tightened the line. He needs a come off the shot. Oh,
okay. So just the
one down.
So just the one. So
fortunate there to get that Peter Aldred bowl out of that wall to just plant that in.
Yeah.
That could have been awful for him if it had have gone wrong.
But it's just the one.
Just the one.
So Brett Foley up 9-3. Overall score 12-7.
Foley getting out to 9-4. And at the moment, I wouldn't think, other than that magnificent bowl he played on the first end, he hasn't really been under any pressure. He's affectionately known as being in the armchair at the moment as the skip because his players are all giving him something. Whereas Mick Story's in just a little bit more trouble when he goes to the head.
There we go. So 9-3 is our score at the moment to Brett Foley. And 12-7 overall. And that might change a little because it looks like Neil Innes getting a bit of a roll on over Nathan Wilson there. On the next ring, 5-0. 5-0. Neil Innes up over Nathan Wilson. Brad Peck 3-1 over Brian Wilcock. Here, 9-3 Foley over Story. Reminder that it's the aggregate score that counts here.
Colin Davis looking for a metre. He hasn't corrected. He's played nearly the same bowl. Andrew Goodson just needs a little bit of both here, a little bit of width, a little bit of length. It's probably the first time that Andrew's played on a televised rink and against a very quality opponent. But that's a good bowl. It's a good bowl there, always a good shot, 2 feet behind on the line. Dean Warnecke with the work to do now. Has been solid for these first 4 ends. Very well pointed. Very well pointed. Gets the whole of the jack.
It's a beauty.
Beauty about getting the jack in the middle or on the high side is you'll run with it and the jack will stay with your bowl rather than glancing off it and your bowl running narrow and the jack running the other way. Peter Aldred following down. Dean Warnecke got a great bowl here. That's a good bowl. It's in the area. Got to get the memory going here, Dean. Did it with your first. No pressure on, do it with your second. Looks like he's done everything right to there. Oh, this is great bowling. Great bowling. Diesel. He's built like one too. Pretty solid bloke. Does he bowl away beautifully?
And he's been very, very solid in the first few ends of this too.
Absolutely.
Warnecke, he's done really well.
Peter Aldred chasing this one. He likes it. Might be just a little high though. Yeah, gave it a chance. Buninyong have actually got some position this end, Guy. If the jack does move, they've got the catches. The 2 shots of Dion Warnecke though, they've set this end up again to the advantage of Altona. Michael Fasico just struggling there to reach. Now, Brett Innes must convert this, must change this head up. Once again though, just a little bit over the draw. I'm just wondering here, Guy, that Buninyong to play to advantage here. Need the jack moved and on the backhand side, not the forehand side. That's a great shot, Michael Fasico.
Oh, yes.
The shot's gone now, so they've missed an opportunity there, Buninyong, to move that jack through on the backhand weight. He's now got to play that forehand. He can really only hope to sit for second here, or maybe get a close third. Very difficult shots to try and get around bowls in the draw, and that's not there. And it's another half bowl wider, so.
So Michael Fasico shut the door on Buninyong there, and Brett Foley has got plenty to work with. If in fact he wants to work with it at all.
Well, the thing you can do wrong here, if you're Brett, is to stick a bowl somewhere where they can work off it.
Yeah, correct.
Or use it as a measuring bowl, a target bowl to go at, or seek the Dale Hancock conversion shot, mate. That's the shot of the series so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty. That was pretty awesome on Friday.
Oh, it was ugly. When the dust had settled, it was awful. That's a great bowl from Brett Foley. That's a counter. I'd say that they would be holding 4 shots here, Altona.
Not for the first time. Mick Story goes back. The body language is not giving much away because he's a very laconic character, clearly, but gee, it's a pretty ugly sight at the end of there.
I think tummy would be churning here, and I think Mick is really, I think he's got to play with a little bit of aggression here. Look up the backhand there, up that line. Look for that one of those two bowls, but he's going on that forehand. This is very, very difficult. He's backing himself to do it. If he's got the weight, he's on the right line.
Oh, here we
got
go.
The weight? Wow, that's a great try.
Good effort.
He's cut 2 of them out, I'd say. Yeah. Dan's cut 3 out. He's only 1 down. Brett Foley will be looking here to do something. Yes, he's looking to say he wants to push that jack slightly. He gets down there into that little gap and gets the inside edge of that last Mick Story bowl. He can convert for 4 up again, or maybe 5 if he can stay.
Well, Mick Story's done about as well as he can with what he had to work with.
You can't do better than that on that end. It was very difficult for him to draw the shot. If he'd done that, that would have been a shot of the day, but Brett Foley, intent. I think he's tight. Yeah, just lacking a little bit in the strength area. Great try. Mick's got to be careful here, guys. Handling nitroglycerin here. He's got to be content. If I was him, I'd try it on the backhand to try and draw the shot. And Brett Innes is looking at this, at that plant shot, but it's full of risk. If he was inside and missed that, he could take his own bowl out and be in all sorts of strife.
They've also got to look around at the other rinks too. They probably do, because right now Neil Innes going very well against Nathan Wilson, up 5-0.
Good player, Neil Innes.
Yeah.
Very good player.
And not much. Brad Peck up by a couple over Brian Wilcock. I think that might be 4-1. So while they are down by 6, they might not want to make the picture any uglier.
Lenny Callis over there leading for Brad Peck. He's got 1-2 inches away from the jack, and his second bowl just a little over a foot away from the jack, so he's putting it on over there, the pressure. This will do nothing, this bowl. It'll just fall into the front pack. Yep. And he did the saver with his first. 1 shot.
So just the one. So Brett Foley picks up another. It's 10-3.
Third of the way through this televised Champion of State pennant rink match between Altona and Buninyong, brought to you by mysportlive.tv. No up to date yet, Guy, from our other important game up there on green number 3 between Lakes and Queenscliff.
We'll get some scores from around the grounds very, very soon.
They're in it, Buninyong. They're only 5 behind.
Correct.
5 ends played on this rink, and in total, about 11, 12 ends played already. Cole Davis, that's a great shot. You will not lose many games if your leader is putting him there. Setting up great heads for his following players to bowl to. Lots of pressure here on Andrew Goodson.
Neil Innes is absolutely
Have
going
a look at
like
this.
a train.
What a great shot here, Andrew Goodson.
Yeah.
Great shot.
It's a great shot indeed.
Great shot.
Neil Innes going absolutely brilliantly against Nathan Wilson, up 7-0. So there's Buninyong getting it done over there.
4 high quality players in that Nathan Wilson rink. Mick O'Neill, Snowy Barker, Dane McKinnon, and Nathan Wilson himself.
So far, Ian Voigt, Graeme Nicholson, Keith Chapman, Neil Innes getting it done. 7-0 up.
Great shot, Cole Davis. Johnny Nunn from Buninyong turned one over there for Brian Wilcox against Brad Peck. He's pretty laid back, the big Pecky. Not much upsets him until you see him let one rip, and when it leaves his hand, it's probably airborne for the first 30 feet until it touches the green, and when it hits the head, it absolutely destroys it. So if he has to play a big weighted shot, you'll see bowls scatter everywhere.
In the Metro Pennant final, in the Taylor Bowls Premier Division Metro Pennant final, Brad Peck's rink was pretty much the key one to Altona winning. It was an 11-shot win over Madiel, the state player from Melbourne. And that was very important in the context of winning it. So Brad Peck bringing some good form here.
Liam Garlick-Adams played a big shot just over there for Brad Peck too. And Dean Warnecke, the diesel, back on the mat. He's played a great shot here. Played a great shot. Oh, just under. Andrew Goodson's had a good start here. He's got 2 bowls, both within a foot or so of the jack. Colin Hayes, not the horse trainer, but the bowler. Played a ripper over there for Brad Peck. Against Brad Peck, sorry, for Brian Wilcock. Peter Aldred just underneath the line. Liam Garlick-Adams, LGA. Great shot. It's all happening around us, guys. There's something happening on every rink. This is great bowls.
Yeah, pretty much. And
this is Pennant bowls at its best.
Buninyong absolutely taking it up to Altona here.
In that Peck Wilcox game, 5 bowls played in succession have all changed the head. And viewers, that's the best advertisement for great bowls. Seconds, thirds, then skippers coming down to change heads over.
Every bowl counting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Colin Hayes played that like he was a galloper. It's in the ditch. Bit of weight on that one, a little bit impetuous. He ran after that. He thought he was running the straight 6 at Flemington, I think.
Yes, yes, Colin Hayes shares the name of the great horse trainer of great horses like Dulcify.
Oh, that's a shocker, guy. Know what happened to Dulcify?
Yeah, well, he was a fine horse, unfortunately, before he broke down the Melbourne Cup.
Michael Pasico's just played an absolute gem of a bowl there. He's tucked that jack right in against Colin Davis's bowl. Very difficult now. Brett Innes, though, he's got a chance if he reaches. Just a little underline. Michael Pasico, affectionately known as the Mouse. Down well again. I think he might be just a little bit shy. But another good bowl. Brett Innes just looking to transfer the line out a couple of feet. Get a foot of weight on it. Every chance to trail the jack here for 2 or sit the bowl out. He's going to come in on the high side. Good weight. The key here, Guy, on this green is to make sure that 3 or 4 feet out, you're wide of the line of the jack. If you're underneath that line, it will cut across. If you are on the money with your grass, you'll finish within the touching area of the jack. It's a very, very nice, slow, lazy draw on this green. Players using the different variety of models of bowls probably aren't out much further than the rink peg. It's all about weight, line control. Yes, great bowl, Brett Foley. That is an absolute gem there.
It's a beauty.
I would say they are holding 3 shots. A little bit of a raise of the eyebrows there from Mick Story as he's headed back to the mat, facing another end where he's down, so he needs to weave a little bit of Buninyong magic here. I'd say a little bit of backhand Buninyong magic. Not without a chance. Just not going to turn. Good shot. One down. Great bowl. Once again, reducing the number. But it's not helping Buninyong because they're not getting the score on the board.
Right, so we'll just, while Brett Foley goes back to make a fist of this, we'll just bring you up to date with a couple of around the ground scores. The most important one, and one that's going to decide the section. Section B, Queenscliff versus Lakes Entrance. Queenscliff up by 2 shots in that. It's early days, 16-14, 16 ends down. The winner of that match, in theory, will win the section and go through to the final. So Queenscliff 16-14 to the good after 16 ends of that.
Brett Foley. Great shot. He's got one and he's got it surrounded. Mick Story, on the other hand, like a cat on a hot tin roof, mate. He's given this a chance. He's a show. Oh, just skated underneath the rink. Another one more shot to Altona.
So there it is, Brett Foley up 11-3. It's 17-11 overall. So Buninyong right in this while they are trailing significantly on this rink. It's not the case on the other two. 7-0, Neil Innes over Nathan Wilson. Albeit though that Brad Peck looks like they've picked up a couple on their rink against Brian Wilcock. We've got that 6-1 to Peck.
Nathan Wilson just picking up a couple.
And Nathan Wilson's picked up a couple here. So that lead's going to push out a little bit for Altona now. And once we get the scores updated electronically, we'll be able to indicate that in the white boxes on the scoreboard. That is the aggregate total. The yellow boxes are what's happening on our televised rink. Foley v Story, Altona v Buninyong. So just going around the grounds, just a reminder of the very important Section B match which will decide that section. Queenscliff up 16-14 over previously undefeated Lakes Entrance after 16 ends. In the other Section A matches, which could influence this group if Altona get beaten, Shepparton Golf are up 13-2 over Coringal, 16 ends down there. And Kerrang currently sitting second in the group. They knocked Altona off yesterday to open the door in Section A, up 14-13 over Traralgon, 15 ends down. So basically what Shep Golf and Kerrang have to do is win. In Shep Golf's case, they have to win by plenty and hope that Altona get beaten. So both currently on track to do that.
Big first bowl from Andrew Goodson there, and Bubba not happy with himself there with dropping that one a good 4 to 5 feet short. Andrew, take your time, focus, get the cognitive powers working here, and remember what you did with your first one. Play it again, down well. It's a great shot of his first there because Bubba Davis had a bowl there, pretty close. No, he's got another, but he's opened the jack up. Just a little bit tight there with that bowl. If he'd finished around behind the shot, which touching the jack, it would have been a better shot, but Buninyong have got him. Altona have got to get him. And they enjoy the buffer of an 8-shot win on rink lead on this game, so they could afford to drop a maximum count, Guy, and it'd be all square, but I just can't see that happening at the moment. The Altona team have just got an answer for everything at the moment. Now, Peter Aldred. If he can get one really close and covering this jack up, the pressure will go back on Altona. Given what you said, Guy, about Brian Wilcock enjoying a nice, comfortable five-shot lead over.
It's actually Brad Peck.
Oh, it is Brad Peck. Sorry,
Brad Peck who's up. It's actually in the other one. Neil Innes has got the lead over Nathan Wilson.
Correct.
So 7-2 there. It's a 5-shot lead to Innes. And Peck up 6-1 over Brian Wilcock. Here it's 11-3 to Foley over Story. And in reality, it's this rink that is pretty much providing the difference.
And look, it may have a bearing on the overall outcome of the game, and if that's the case, you would think the best place for Mick Story's boys would be off the green first, so the others know what they've got to do if that's the case. So
it's a very good point, and tactically, Bridgie, that's really sound, because it is the aggregate that matters.
Yep. Okay, Peter Aldred. Good miss there. If he'd picked that jack up, he would have brought those two back Altona bowls into play. It's up to Michael Vasico. Try and land one on that jack. He's looking very good to there. Just arrived on what would be the shot bowl. Yeah, not a lot of bowls have been played on this backhand side going back down towards Blair Street. Brett Innes to get the opportunity. I can tell you that there is a little bit of draw on this side. It's a consistent, kind draw on both sides, but this side just takes that little extra. He's played a jack high bowl to get the shot there. You've only got to beat it just the inside of a jack high bowl to count, which makes that area just a little more inviting to be in. Well, there's a big gap there, Michael. He's touched the jack. You just touch these heavy jacks with a millimetre and they don't move. Played a beautiful shot. If he picked that up clean, it was 2. Have to be careful here. Buninyong got a shot. Got a couple of shots if Brett Innes can get in there and draw another. He's a little heavy. Oh, wow. He's played a super trail for 1. Possibly a measure, but when you're holding, you don't want to be just that narrow through the jack. It's easy to say from here, but it's hard then for the skipper to try and plan what he's going to do here, because he's only got 1 bowl in the head mix Story. Brett Foley's got a big chance here. He can get a little split on this measure for shot, or turn his own bowl over, or even get through the gap and trail the jack. Great shot, Brett Foley. That is beautiful.
Yeah. Great shot, Brett Foley, indeed.
Brett Innes would be kicking himself for that, because really he's made that shot for Brett Foley. If that had stayed as it was, Brett would have been on the backhand just trying to draw to save. Opened up a fantastic shot for him there to show his skill. He played that with just perfect weight, 2 feet of arrival. Turned his own bowl through, had enough momentum to come through and stay for shot. So poor old Mick. Come on, Mick, lift your team, mate. You can do it. On the backhand. Sees the opportunity here to turn his own bowl through. Starting to get away a little bit now, Altona, with a 10-shot lead. And this is really make or break here, Guy. We're nearly at the 7th end. Halfway mark. Oh, what a great shot here. Just short of a gallop.
Yeah, but even then, fine shot.
It's horrible. Mick has no bowl past jack high. He's got the Peter Aldred bowl out to the left of your screen as we look at it, but I can't see the jack going out there. If anything, it's going to go straight back and possibly into the ditch, and he's got nothing. Yeah.
So what's Foley do here?
He doesn't go anywhere near the head. He plays just behind on his forehand, I would think. Anywhere between the head and the ditch will be a good bowl. Practice shot for a draw to the edge. The pressure's on Mick Story to turn this around. Brett may have played a very good bowl here to cover this up. He has made it a lot harder, although there is a funnel. Mick Story's got to pick this perfectly, but it's yuck because he only has that one really close in there. He won't play silly weight, Mick, because I think he could see the danger if he gets onto his own bowl and takes it out.
Well, there's an 8-shot buffer here for Foley over Story. It looks like Brad Peck has taken his lead out to 8 shots over Brian Wilcock on rink 9. Neil Innes still up 7-2 over Nathan Wilson. So that's keeping Buninyong in at 8-1. In fact, it is Peck over Wilcock, 7-2 Innes over Wilson. Here, 11-3 Brett Foley over Story, with the prospect of a couple more to come to Altona here. If Mick Story can't address.
He's played control, so he's not going to play what you'd class as erratic weight. He's played... Yeah. Very difficult shot. It was one. Michael Masiko looking for the second. Yeah, he's going to have a measure. He's... This might be closer. Might see an umpiring job here. Yeah, if they can't agree, the 2/3, they'll probably call the umpire. Brett Innes has probably got a pretty steady hand. He's in a good position over the head to measure, to see it. Measured the 2 Altona bowls, and he hasn't measured his own here. Umpire has been called, so one bowl has been removed from the head, and it's an actual 3-way measure here for second shot. And the 2 Altona bowls are laying on their belly, so always able to get a good solid touch on the flat bowl.
It's a good time to check in what's going on here. Neil Innes built his lead over Nathan Wilson out to 9-10-2. So 10-2. So they are keeping Buninyong very much in at Neil Innes rink. Brad Peck up 8-1 over Brian Wilcock here. It's 11-3. Foley over Story. Definitely 1 to Altona, possibly 2. As our umpire comes to measure. We'll just bring you up to date with a couple of the other Section B matches, which won't have any bearing on the overall standings. Benalla up 13-10 over Horsham City, 12 ends down. Eagle Hawk are up 13-11 over Warrnambool, 14 ends down in the 2 Section B matches, which aren't live, really playing for pride, all 4 of those teams. And just an update, the other Section B match that is live and in play, Queenscliff up by 2 shots over Lakes Entrance.
And the other one, too, Guy, you've got Shep Golf, who are in 3rd place in that section, well in front of Karingal, 13-2. And Kerrang, 1 shot up over Traralgon.
So basically, Kerrang and Shep Golf are doing what they need to do, which is win. They have to hope that the cheese falls off Altona's cracker here against Buninyong. They require Buninyong to win to have any hope of topping the section. If Altona win, they're through.
Merrill and Ray from Moama. Looking over the top of this, using the extended Tremel and the vernier calipers to get a real solid feel for who is the shot. Both bowls flat, so no chance of either bowl falling in, which would be chocked anyway, but get a good view of this, of the calipers going down between. And the Buninyong bowl determined as one shot.
So it's 1 to Brett Foley. Not 2, just the 1. So 12-3.
They've strung the last 5 ends together, Altona. And in the course of those last 5 ends, they've added 8 shots and kept Buninyong on the pine. So it's time for Buninyong to get going, Guy. Otherwise, this may blow out.
Well, certainly they need to get going on this rink, but I tell you what, Neil Innes and company getting it done against Nathan Wilson. 10-2.
10-2.
They're up there. Brad Peck, however, for Altona is doing a similar job to Brett Foley here. Brad Peck up 8-1.
Neil Innes is actually covering this rink.
Yeah.
Great shot, Bubba.
Really good shot, Colin Davis, to get us going there. So Altona up by 8. Bit of a mixed bag across the 3 rinks. Buninyong well down on 2 rinks, but Neil Innes keeping them right in this.
Bubba, a fine exponent of bowls. I wonder what he knows about shrimp.
You broil it, you fry it.
Shrimp gumbo.
Indeed. Bubba, one of the characters from Forrest Gump, fine film of the 90s.
You'd like to say that winning a game of bowls is like a box of chocolates, but at the moment, Altona are eating all those chocolates and Buninyong are on boiled lollies. They need to do something major here to get themselves going on this rink. Really, they've got to focus not so much on what the score is, but just trying to win an end. Win an end and change the complexion of the game by changing up the length, doing something different. Andrew Goodson searching for the jack there. Dean Warnecke been very solid in this game. I don't think he's played a short bowl, Guy. I think as a second, it's very important that your bowls, if they're not getting shot, are serviceable.
We've spoken before many times about the importance of not having short bowls.
There's a good bowl here. That's a great second shot there.
Bowled really well, Dion Warnecke. He's bowled really well throughout this. So just the overall picture is 23-14 to Altona. They're up by 9.
Peter Aldred just letting that one hang out a little there on that backhand. In the 8th end of this match, they've effectively played 10 because they've had 2 trial ends. Players should be knowing where the line is now. It doesn't vary under here. It'll be like playing on tram lines after a while, Guy. You just get in the line and buy your ticket, pay your full fare and get off at the tram stop. It's not... I think this is probably one of the kindest surfaces you could ever play bowls on.
Worth pointing out, Graeme Bridge out there having a roll this morning, getting it ready for the players this morning. As we were doing our preparations for the telecast.
It's nice to, when you are going to be providing comments on the match, if you get out there and have a look at the green and see what it's doing yourself, you know exactly what's facing the players, and just putting, 2 bowls down on a couple of ends, get a feel for what the leaders would be faced with, because they won't be worrying about stuff much being in the way. And I just found that the bowls very kind in the finish. If you're on the right, if you're on the right line and you've got somewhere near about that, 2 feet of weight around the head, you'll get a lot of bowls finishing in what we call the scoring zone. So
again, this show rink, this little 3-rink television setup that we've got here is part of the amazing Moama Bowling Club complex. Multi-million-dollar complex, 4 greens.
great shot, Michael. Little glance off the inside of that bowl with perfect weight. And it is the weight that's the key. Brett Ennis struggling there to get that weight. If I was Mick Story here, I would have called the whole rink together. They don't have possession of the rink. That lays with Brett, but it's a good idea that the four guys get together here and just have a little bit of a chat about things and Mick G up the team a little bit. They seem to be playing without a little bit of spark there, and something's got to happen to ignite them, really. This man he should call himself the extinguisher, because he puts any flames out from anybody if they start to show them. Brett Foley, he's just all over this. This is precision bowling from the skip. Great shot, Brett Foley. If it falls over, Mick Story sees himself in another unenviable position here of trying to retrieve a head where he's at least 3 down, I would think.
And that bowl from Brett Foley has got the lean of the Saturday night drunk about it, doesn't it? It is hovering right over that jack.
That was last night, wasn't it? Saturday night.
It is seriously on an edge.
The border in tilt.
It could be the border in tilt. Yeah, the border in just at the corner here. Watering hole. I'm sure many of the bowlers would have found that last night.
I walked past there at about 9 o'clock last night, and a little bit later, probably about 9:15. The front bar was packed. Oh, Mick, you're wide. Oh, great try. Probably landed there in second shot again, but this could be the 6th end in a row for Altona if they can hold this one, and there needs to be something come over this game to get this rink happening for Buninyong, because at the moment they're being shown a clean set of heels from the Altona quartet.
As is Brad Peck doing the same to Brian Wilcock on the other rink, but certainly Neil Ennis keeping Buninyong in it, up 10-2 over Nathan Wilson.
It's Nathan Wilson. He'll be featuring heavily in the Victorian State team next week up in Darwin in the National Sides Championship, being conducted at Darwin Bowling Club, which is an undercover venue as well, and the Nightcliff Sports Club.
The border in tilt has just fallen over.
Yes.
Foley's just Foley's bowl from previously. He's taken a tumble.
Come on, Mick. Wind up, mate. I think it's time to show a little bit of full-bloodedness here. Got to make something happen. Rattle something around. A dead draw here to try and draw the shot. The forehand has danger, because if he's underneath and he sits his own bowl out, he's back to 3 down. The backhand, if he plays a little bit overweight and gets the inside or outside edge of his own bowl, he's back to 3 down. He's going to go here. He should go full belt and just see if he can get a bit of a pinball shot going, a bit of stuff off the bumpers, and see what happens when the dust settles. But I think the backhand is his safer alternative. He's undecided, but he's going to go on the backhand. Come on, Mick. Lift the roof off with a ripper. Well, here we go. Yes.
Oh,
He's got the shot.
fantastic.
Well done, Mick.
That is a great shot.
Well done. It's one. I don't think it'll be the two. I think the Brett Foley bowl will be second. They take it out. There's a gap. One shot.
So there it is, one
Well,
to Buninyong. Great shot from Mick Story there. Exactly what was required.
well.
So there they are.
Andrew Goodson's placed the mat where Bubba had it before.
Very dubious characters you're seeing on your screen there. That's us.
And yeah, great heads for radio.
Absolutely. We're genuinely sorry about doing that to your viewers.
Okay.
And also along with the team from My Sport Live doing a fantastic job keeping us on air and the behind the scenes technological miracle that's bringing you live streaming from the wonderful Moama Bowling Club.
A slight change in this guy. The jack's back 3 metres from where it's been previously. Mat in the same spot, so but roughly a 29 to 30 metre length here. And any bowl that finishes between the jack and the ditch here will be good. And I think this bowl will finish in the ditch. Last place you want to see your leads bowls is up on the bank. So a bit of work for Andrew with his next. Bubba certainly won't fall for that trick. Okay, it's in the knock-up zone. 70 centimetres out. Andrew Goodson, focused this time. He's made the correction. He'd love for this to be his first, believe me. Great shot, great correction. Highly skilled there to be able to get the control back on the length. Bubba, big saying, big men don't bowl short, leave that for the short guys. Peter Aldred definitely needing to come around this bowl of Cole Davis's. We don't want to be touching that in. Be a shame at this time. Goody is holding shot. This is not giving himself a chance there.
So just on the on rink 9, Brad Peck's increased his lead 10-1 up over Brian Wilcock. Here 12-4, Foley over Story, and still Neil Ennis is keeping Buninyong in the match.
Dion Warnecke here. He's supercharged as well. Peter Aldred looking for a lot of correction here, probably looking for the better part of 2.5 metres. He's found that plus. Great shot here. That's a very good bowl, Peter. Warnecke sneaking in, getting a closer bowl, virtually lying alongside the shot bowl. Time for Brett Innes to get on board. I like this. Is he around the blue? No, just touched it. Guy, you've got some news from what's happening outside on the other rinks. You can see here that we've got a lot of interest in 2 or 3 games that are happening around this multi-green complex.
Oh, absolutely. Let's bring you up to date with the all-important Section B match. And that's the one that's very much live. Lakes Entrance, unbeaten in 4 games. And they're leading Queenscliff 24-20 after 24 ends. So Lakes Entrance win that match. Basically the winner of that match in reality, Lakes Entrance or Queenscliff, will top that section. So Lakes Entrance currently 4 shots to the good over Queenscliff in their Section B clash.
He's not here again.
Now in the other Section B matches, Eaglehawk up 22-17 over Warnecke. Horsham City up 24-17 over Benalla. They're 22 and 21 ends respectively there. And in the 2 other matches in Section A, which will matter if Altona do get beaten overall, Coringal are up 29-28 over Shepparton Golf, 27 ends down. And Traralgon are up 29-27 over Kerrang after 27 ends. So both Shep Golf and Kerrang need to win those matches to have any hope of topping the division, and then they would need Altona to topple over. So right now, both trailing.
Eight bowls in front of the jack on this end. So half the bowls to be played on this end, finishing short of the jack. Michael Vasico played a magnificent bowl on his backhand to come around and draw that shot just behind Jack High. Nick Story got his team out of trouble on the last end. Removed the jacket. Means business now with the shirt sleeves. Come on, Mick. Pump another one up.
Well, he did it on the last end.
He's on his backhand. Looking here maybe to play inside to turn Brett Innes's bowl through or get tight through onto the shot bowl. Oh, he had the right weight. Had all the intent under the sun. Then there is a plant shot on there to shoot his own bowl onto the shot or jack. Brett Foley. It's 2 feet to draw another. Stays down over that shot. Stalks it for the first bit of its run. What a magnificent shot. That's changed the head again. Makes it just that little bit harder now for...
Not for the first time.
Oh, he's
Brett Foley having meaningful influence.
He's turned that yellow bowl over so that really now, if Mick was looking to try and get into that little port there on the backhand, I think he's taken the port away. Still can touch that outside white speckled bowl of Dean Warnecke's to try and turn his own over, but trick shot.
Well, it's certainly not the first time that Brett Foley's had a meaningful influence.
He hasn't wasted many.
He hasn't wasted many at all.
He's had that was his 17th bowl, and I would say that you would be able to count on one hand and have a couple of fingers over how many bowls he's played that have been ineffective. Most of his bowls have had some influence on the head. Mick has not gone to the head on many occasions holding shot or holding what I'd class as reasonable position in which to play a shot. So his hands have been well and truly tied. What's he going to do here? Okay. It's one shot, the Michael Vasico bowl. Brett Foley's only got to just draw up onto that yellow bowl and stay for another. He's got the right line, nice and high. Can't do any damage out there. Yep, 1 to Altona.
So Altona stretched their lead out to 13-4. Brett Foley over Mick Story. Elsewhere, Neil Innes from Buninyong up 10-3 over Nathan Wilson. But on the other rink, Brad Peck holding a very handy lead over Brian Wilcock. 10-1. So
Brad Peck is a picture of style, concentration, absolute skill in execution here. Played a beautiful bowl. Another shot.
yeah,
He doesn't waste many, Guy.
no, so he's certainly going well. So certainly on Foley and Peck's rinks, Altona are doing what they need to do, even though Nathan Wilson down by several against Neil Innes. 26-15 the overall picture here, Altona leading Buninyong, and if they stay in this vein, then Altona will top Section A and they will be going through the grand final.
Bit of a change up here. Cole Davis has only rolled this jack probably 1.5 metres past minimum length. Mat up slightly. Jack not quite to the end of the extended chalk line, so a lot of room here between the jack and the ditch. And Cole hasn't picked it with his first bowl. Good bowl, Andrew Goodson. He's adjusted well, finished on the right side of the line. Quite there, Cole. Nuisance factor. It's turning in towards the jack. About 2 feet short. Andrew Goodson turning over. Doesn't want to touch that in. He stayed down lovely over the bowl. Just hasn't given it enough weight. Picked the line. Just didn't get the weight. Dean Warnecke, the work to do now. Retrieve the situation for Altona as the second. Key in fours play. The lead's not on. The second's got to be there. Every chance here. I think he's played a good bowl. Great shot. Just a little on the narrow side, but weight very good.
So just to update you, it's on the important Section B match. Lakes Entrance 4 shots up over Queenscliff. And the winner of that match will top Section B and head to the grand final. So right now, Lakes Entrance, they're unbeaten in 4 games. And going all right here.
And that's the margin, 4. That Queenscliff have to win by. So at the moment, in effect, Lakes Entrance would be 8 shots in front.
The other live Section A games, which would need Altona to tip over, both Shep Golf and Kerrang losing in those matches. They're down.
Well, Dion Warnecke's failed there. He had the right weight, but just a little tight. Very softly spoken, Mick Story. He doesn't get flustered, doesn't get upset, but he's very quiet in his direction. Very much generated by hand signal. So, well, Peter Aldred snuck in there off that short and narrow bowl from Cole Davis. So, using the opposition's bowl to advantage. Michael Vasico with the work to do now. 3 down. If he's in the gap, he's played a bomb. He's around it. I think he's cut 1 out, maybe 2 out.
Might have rolled the right way too.
Yeah, it fell in. Fall in on the working side, that's good. Not many bowls these days fall out against the bias. And of course the bias not being a lead weight or a brass ball inside a bowl that a lot of people think it may have to make it curve the way it does. It's just that the running surface of the bowl is off centre of the mass of the bowl. That's what makes the bowl curve. There's more mass on the inside than there is on the outside of the bowl. And these days bowls have been manufactured to run very, very close to what the minimum bias is permissible under the master bowl. Interesting, I saw some bowls go down last week in Bendigo at the Bendigo Bowls Jack High shop on their table, their testing table. It's interesting to watch the master bowl come down the table and then they mark where the master bowl finishes, and bowls must finish behind the master bowl. I saw a bowl nearly run off the side of the table. It was that straight.
Oh, goodness.
So it was one that was obviously has worn. Had a big chip out of it too, which didn't help, but that bowl then has to be adjusted so it complies. Or you get a cross through the test stamp, which means you can't use it for competition or any form of game. "25 years ago, Guy, at the National Championships held in Corowa, all bowls were compulsorily tested. Every set of bowls went to Melbourne, to the Henselite factory, to be put down the table. At that stage, back in 1993, there were some 87 different types of bowl in use, and a lot of those went back to the old days. I hesitate to think how many types of bowls there are now. There would be hundreds of types of bowls with different manufacturers who've come onto the scene. And it's a personal choice what bowl you use. Some people like a drawing bowl, some people like a bowl that holds its line. On this surface here, I don't think it matters what bowl you use, it will turn. Brett Foley, that is superb.
Oh, well played again.
That's the shot of a master. That is brilliant. Chock full of confidence, support of his team. He's probably, one on a look down there, but he just made it look so easy. And Mick Story just really, I don't know what he was trying to do there. He's dropped one shot there. The forehand there, if he touched the shot, trailed the jack, he could have been two. Played a difficult bowl.
So there it is, one shot to Brett Foley. Great shot from Foley to pick the shot up. And Altona are pinching a break here. Nathan Wilson fighting back a little in his match against Neil Innes. 10-5 down. But Brad Peck is very much getting it done. 12-1 up in his match against Brian Wilcock. Here it's 14-4. Brett Foley over Mick Story. So
two great bowls there played by the two Altona skips. Brad Peck against Brian Wilcock played an unbelievable draw shot to draw the jack for shot, and Nathan Wilson just played a sensational bowl to sit through a counter and stun onto the jack for one. So
you get the feeling that Nathan Wilson and team are coming against Neil Innes.
Brian Wilcock's just played a ripper there to move Brad Peck's bowl onto the jack to push it back to his own for one. So it's all changing around, but Buninyong not making any impression on the scoreboard, and that's where it's won.
And while we'd say certainly Brad Peck is well up, Brett Foley is well up, Nathan Wilson has been well down, but you sense they're coming.
Yeah,
on that rink. They're coming on that rink, and that could spell real danger for Buninyong, because right now Neil Innes is the only thing keeping him in it. I
think Altona is just about to put the foot on the throat. I think, and the application of the pressure, that's what makes it hard.
Skips are moving around a bit. They're watching the ring, so I notice Brett Foley's just stepped over having a look at what Peck's doing. Peck's having a look at what's going on this rink here. Dane McKinnon was just having a look over at what's happening on the other two rinks as well, who's the third for Nathan Wilson. So they're all getting a bit of a picture of how they're going, and you sense they're about to step it up.
Well, the conversation between those two skips would be, if we just keep doing what we're doing, we've got the match covered.
Yep.
And Nathan Wilson will fight back. That's why he's affectionately known as the Dogger. Got a lot of fight in him. He'll have a bit of a say in how the end result goes there. With Neil Innes, so Neil Innes hasn't made an impact there to change it over. Andrew Goodson holding shot here on our televised match. Dion Warnecke. He's gone amongst the missing in the last couple of ends, but they've still been able to capitalise with some great bowls from Michael Vasico and that ripping shot last end from Brett Foley, the axle. Brett Innes. This is a good shot. Just short of a gallop. They're measuring a long way here for counters. I think you might see Nathan Wilson has got a big impact back there. 4 shots, so.
Well, yep, and you can sense they're coming.
I think that
has shortened the margin down. 10-9, Neil Innes leads over Nathan Wilson, and that was really the only rink they were getting it done on, Buninyong.
This will be the drive to the line now from
go.
Altona, and Dean Warnecke just slipped up there and pumped that bowl up of Peter Aldred, so
I can see Dane McKinnon walking past me, who's the third for Nathan Wilson, looking very happy with himself, and Nathan Wilson having a laugh as well. I think they feel that they're back in town here.
Peter Aldred here is all over the jack. Great shot. Great shot. That's a counter. They hold 3. Unfortunately, Guy, there's a wall to sit on there to count for Michael Vasico. The jack's open. Any bowl that finishes in this area has got to have some impact on the end. He's pointed it beautifully. This is just perfect to watch.
Oh, yeah.
One shot to Michael Vasico.
It's a really good shot there.
The old anything I can do, you can do better type of scenario.
Just bring you up to date, Bridgie. Brad Peck up 12-2 over Brian Wilcock, and it is 10-9 Neil Innes over Nathan Wilson. Neil Innes was up 10-1 in that, and all of a sudden Nathan Wilson and team coming back, and they're coming back hard.
Pecky's got the Maltese Falcon there. He's got Lenny Callis all over the front of the jack there, 8 inches short of the jack. He's played a lot of bowls in the last few weeks, Lenny Callis, being up at that Commonwealth Games.
Correct, he was involved in the Commonwealth Games. And Sharon Callis, a Victorian, also playing for Malta and picked up a bronze medal. Did Sharon, kind of lost in amongst the euphoria of the Jackaroos, picking up 5 gold medals and 2 silvers, and the Victorians playing a very big hand in that. But another Victorian, Sharon Callis, representing Malta with distinction, and picking up a bronze medal at the Com Games. And Sharon plays her bowls in the Metro West region of Victoria. I think she plays for, is she an Altona player?
I think so.
I think she's at Altona as well.
Great shot. Buninyong on. First and maybe second, measure for second or third.
Okay,
but what will Foley do? He's on fire at the moment. Every chance here he can convert this head. Liam Garlic Adams looking after the skip on the adjoining rink and picking up his bowl for him. Always nice to have that handed to you without having to bend over. Word of encouragement, you'll get this, Axel. Just a little high. Now, Mick. Got a chance here to get one back, but it's really at the time in the game now when they need some score. Ones aren't going to do it. Needs a bit of luck here. Didn't get it. Just a little bit on the high side. Well, he is human, Guy. He hasn't changed this head up. But my word, he's played some big bowls during this match. And I think could rightly claim that he's been the difference in Buninyong holding a shot and having it taken off them.
So 2 down. Yeah.
2 to Buninyong.
I think I saw Buninyong indicate it was 2. It was 2 down. They were 2 down. It was 2 to...
2 to Altona.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw that. I'll just double check that for you, but I'm pretty sure Brett Ennis indicating 2 down for Buninyong.
Great shot from Cole Davis.
Definitely 2 to Altona there, 16-4. Definitely a 2 to Altona there. I saw the third for Buninyong indicate 2 down. So it's suddenly starting to look fairly ugly for Buninyong and fairly good for Altona, because Altona win this, they are going to top Section A. They will be in the grand final this afternoon, should they win overall. And right now, they're taking a stranglehold on this game. Certainly well up on our televised rink here. Just a reminder, there is a 2 to Altona. And elsewhere, Brad Peck up 12-2 over Brian Wilcock. 10-9 to Neil Innes over Nathan Wilson. Nathan Wilson's rink trailed 10-1 in that. And that was the rink keeping Buninyong in it, and suddenly the rink of Mick O'Neill, Brendan Barker, Dane McKinnon, Nathan Wilson is coming, and they're coming hard.
Brad Peck's just drawn another great bowl with his last, making every bowl count.
So overall, it's Altona by 21.
You can put our glasses down, Guy. I think Altona have done enough to this stage, with plenty in the tank, I think.
So what we'll also be doing is keeping you across what's happening in the important Section B match, in which Queenscliff and Lakes Entrance are doing battle. Lakes Entrance unbeaten in their first 4 games. They meet the second place team in the group, Queenscliff. Now Queenscliff need...
Dean Warnecke, great shot, Diesel, great shot.
Queenscliff will need to win that by 4 shots to guarantee themselves a spot in the final. In reality, whoever wins that game, in 95% of cases, is going to go through. Currently, it's Lakes Entrance 4 shots up over Queenscliff.
Buninyong in trouble here on this end. They don't have a bowl within probably 4 feet of the jack. And the Altona lead in second. Cole Davis and Dean Warnecke, they've both got a bowl within a foot. 3 shots with the third shot just probably about 60 centimetres away from the jack. Michael Fasico in the luxurious position of playing third and just getting on the mat to draw another shot. Doesn't have to change the head up. That's a great bowl from Michael Fasico. Great shot. Bowling green's like a boxing ring, Guy. You can go to a corner, but you can't hide. Buninyong are right under the pump here. And all credit to them. You know, they've done the hard work in the Ballarat comp. They've won that to get to this champion of state pennant. That in itself is a great achievement.
Neil Innes picked up another shot in his match against Nathan Wilson, so he's up 11-9 there. But they need a bit more than that right now across all rinks. They're well down here. Story v Foley, well down Wilcock v Peck.
It's probably another counter. Probably 5 shots they're holding there, and Brett Innes needs to get a bowl in there. I think it's a forehand shot here, but he's... Yeah, come down and have a look. Skipper sees it different. The player sees it from a long way away. The skipper sees it by just standing over the head. Interestingly, on the Nathan Wilson and Neil Innes match, Nathan Wilson played a full-blooded drive, hit a plant shot, pushed a bowl straight through the jack, and the jack came 10 feet back up the green. So
there's you telling me the jack never goes forward.
Not very often. Not very often. And these heavy jacks, when they start flying around, they can be lethal. Sometimes the safest place is not behind the rink. There's the forehand shot that Brett Innes is playing. He's got a few options here. If he's tight, he sits on the counters. If he's just around it, he gets onto the jack. He's played a great bowl here. Great shot.
Yep.
But I still think he's 2 down. Maybe any other day that may be a good shot, but not today. It's Altona rink, all doing something in the match. And as we've said, not wasting many. Brett Foley doesn't have to go anywhere near this head either. He's got it well covered. Got a shot behind. A second shot just in front. Be interested to see what he actually does here. Maybe a backhand draw, finishing out on that backhand side. He's shaped up for it.
Oh.
I think he's got jackpot eyes at the moment. He's looking for shots everywhere. He's just made He's just made 6.
Absolute showtime.
Wow.
Brett Foley.
He may, if Mick Story can get onto that last bowl and push through the jack, may find himself down here.
And Brett Foley has given himself, or given his rink, a handful of shots here, maybe more than that.
That was nearly an anytime fitness shot of the day there because, you know, he was 2 up. He turned that over for 6. That is maximum percentage bowls.
Either way, Brett's going to be right in the conversation because we saw an absolute peach on the first end, and that's right in the conversation as well.
That's when you've got them down and you don't let them up. Great shot. Poor old Mick. Well, he's playing weight. He's giving it a go. He's having an attacking shot here.
Oh, that's out.
Nothing.
Nothing there. And that's going to be a few.
He's got another one. Brett Foley's got another. He may
get out here.
He could probably draw the shot into a 44-gallon drum at the moment. That's how big the scoring zone is looking to Brett Foley. He draws another here. That'll be 7. And that'll be put down the glasses. Although I've put them down a couple of ends ago, Guy, I just don't think that Buninyong has the firepower to go with Altona now. They've snuffed the light out. And here comes Brett Foley. He's only got to beat that and sit on that, and he does count, but he just missed it, finished amongst them.
Yeah. Mick Story's got another shot, so gives him a tad of insurance there.
Plays the same shot again, Mick. Got a chance here. Got a real chance here. Oh, he took the clean shot bowl clean off and got nothing else.
Oh, dear.
Oh, gosh. They're 5 down. Readiness will have to come around bowls here to get into this head on the forehand. How does he look? Just touching his own. You can guarantee Brett Foley will be on this backhand, looking to take the shot clear away.
So it certainly looks as if Altona have got a stranglehold on this, and if it continues the way it is, and there's no reason to suggest there's anything else going to happen in terms of changing that, Altona will top Section A and they'll be on their way to the grand final. Section B, there is one other match with a huge bearing on how this competition will shape up. It's Queenscliff's against the previously undefeated Lakes entrance. Queenscliff are currently leading that by 5 shots, 38-33 over Lakes, 38 ends down to 45. So, do your maths, Bridgie. Well, that would get Queenscliff in.
That would at the moment. They're 1 shot ahead of what their task is. They had to win by a minimum of 4. So being 5 in front, 7 ends to play. It's Lakes' to lose, Queenscliff's to win, with the spot being against Altona in the final up for grabs. So I think whatever happens, we're in for a crackerjack final this afternoon.
So the winner of that match, Queenscliff and Lakes entrance, will top Section B. The caveat being that Queenscliff do need to win it by 4 because of the shot difference. So 4 or more gets Queenscliff in. But for simplicity's sake, let's just say the winner goes through.
Neither skipper's done anything on this end. Mick Story. This is his last hope. And he's going to run into the pack. I think that was 1 to Altona.
1 to Altona.
Yep.
They extend their lead 22-4. 45-18, so
up and back in this 15 sectional qualifying match, which Altona haven't really put a foot wrong, in particular in our televised match.
And they've certainly fought back in the Neil Innes v Nathan Wilson match. Brad Peck well in control against Brian Wilcox, so looking a lot like Altona.
Cole Davis off to a great start here. Dooley, great shot. Goodson following down Cole Davis. If you just look at Andrew front on, his shoulders are very square to the centre line, which does tend to make you bowl that little bit narrow. Just try and get that hand going out to your aiming line, getting your bowl on the right trajectory. Cole Davis peppering it, getting one on and one short of it. Giving it a little bit of cover. Better line. I think he's a little bit quick. Is he alive? No, he's down the dreaded mine.
Talking about down the dreaded mine, Bridgie. Obviously Altona doing what they need to here and looking like they're fairly much in control, but Kerrang, it would seem, would not be able to beat them anyway. They're currently trailing by 20 shots against Traralgon, down 53-33 in their Section A match, 41 ends down in that. So pretty safe to say that Traralgon will run out winners, and thereby Kerrang wouldn't have any hope anyway. It's because they did need to win that. Shep Golf going a bit better though. They're up 42-36 over Coringal. That's 38 ends down in the other Section A matches. But either way, pretty much academic, because Altona,
they've got it
will win this.
Sign up with 4 wins.
And they'll top Section A. Section B, we've touched upon. Queenscliff up by 5 shots against Lakes Entrance. That would be, if the 5-shot margin were to stand, great shot there. If the 5-shot margin were to stand, that would be enough for Queenscliff to top Section B and go into the final this afternoon. Lakes Entrance win that. Lakes Entrance will go through to the grand final. The other 2 Section B matches, Warrnambool and Eaglehawk, 34 apiece after 34 ends there. All the 34s for the folks following the bingo at home. And Horsham City up 40-29 over Benalla, 38 ends down there.
Peter Aldred just played a magnificent draw shot bowl there. Side toucher. Can he do it again? Grassed it well. We'll put it on the carpet well. If he gets behind Jack, it's a good bowl wherever it finishes. What's the name of that famous song? Too much, too little, too late.
Yes.
I think we've got the Buninyong players here. Just mouse for Seiko. That's a great shot.
Great shot.
If you're not going to get the shot, you smother it with seconds. You're not going to do a lot of damage to yourself on the scoreboard if you've got a lot of bowls in the head. Brett Innes just not coming to grips with this rink. Searching, still looking for the line and the length after we've played 13 ends. Michael Fasico, on the other hand, he's played some telling bowls. And he's making it more difficult. When you're in front by 18 and you're 1 down with 4 seconds, you're really in a comfort zone. Lenny Callis is peppering that jack for Bradley Peck, leading as well.
Peck up 13-4 there over Brian Wilcock. Neil Lynn is still 2 shots up over Nathan Wilson though, 12-10.
Yep.
But they were leading 10-1. And that lead's been eradicated. So with what we're seeing here, 22-4 to Foley, it will be Altona running out winners here.
Brett Foley will not surrender a shot. He is almost like a tyrant, wanting to seize control of every end, and that's a great trait, you know. Having the ability to go back up the other end here. He's seen the shot. Back up the other end. Have a think about it. Have a look at it. There's the focused look. Now the backhand. If he can come down and sit that bowl out, it's 5 shots. He's not happy to be 18 in front. He wants to be 23 in front. Just a little bit high. Great try. Just lost it. Gave it a chance. He won't have to change much with his next bowl. He's got the yellow bowl to push through it, or if he gets the outside edge of the blue bowl, it's gone. You cannot draw another shot here, Mick. It's an unenviable position to be in when you've got a shot bowl touching the side of the jack, but the opposition's got it surrounded. It's like the old Indians surrounding the wagon train, isn't it? You know, you've got no real chance.
Yeah, circle the wagons.
Playing the backhand. Very high. It won't feature. He's looking hard. Brett Foley looking very hard. Well, it spat out the side to where Buninyong did have some cover. They've got one. Mick Story now looking to draw another. Try and improve his situation. It's not a bad paddock he's in. Found his forte here, Mick. He's holding one, he's drawn another. That's 2 shots.
So Buninyong add to score 22-6. They trail now. Story against Foley. It's not going to really change things up much. Altona as a team on their way to victory here, on their way to topping Section A, and on their way to the afternoon's grand final, it would seem.
Look at their chance to put their feet up for possibly the better part of 3/4 of an hour or so, and Andrew Goodson, his lead bowl there, not finishing in a bad spot. Cole Davis following him down, finding the gap. It's between jack and ditch. It's a good shot. Neil Innes won't go away, Guy. Nathan Wilson played a great shot. Neil Innes came back with a good counter.
So they've been very good, and they're still leading. Nathan Wilson there. A couple of shots to the good. So one Buninyong ring cup. The others, though, well down.
Since about the 15th end of this match, Altona have held control. And they've held control probably with the knowledge that Nathan Wilson wouldn't have a blowout. And that's probably the difference here. Nathan Wilson's been able to get his situation back on that rink to within a couple. But the Buninyong rinks, skipped by Brian Wilcock and Mick Story, just haven't been able to make an impact on their opponents. They've dictated terms. Peter Aldred. Yeah, within 70 centimetres of the jack. Warnecke on the Backhand draw side. Going back towards Blair Street. Good shot. Just turning the shot bowl over a little closer, but finishing in an area where now Buninyong have got to try and get more bowls inside 18 inches of the jack. So Peter Aldred arriving here with just a little bit over the draw and finishing in the bin. Warnecke doesn't have to do much different to his last. He had the weight, just looking for a line correction, which he's found, and he's got the jack right square smack in the middle. That's a big turnover. The next time I come to Moama Guy, I'll definitely be bringing a cushion.
We're on the aluminium seats.
The aluminium seats.
And we can tell you it's pretty chilly first thing in the morning on these. It does warm up a bit during the day though, but
readiness. All the work to do. It's not reaching.
So Neil Innes has picked up a couple against Nathan Wilson. So they're up 14-10. So creditable performance by that rink.
Absolutely.
Buninyong done a great job against a star-studded Altona rink. But that said, I would imagine, as you pointed out, Bridgie, with Nathan Wilson, that have been just going into a little bit of damage control to ensure that they don't blow it out.
He's a very.
The other two rinks are absolutely flying.
He's a very he always nags around the head, Nathan. He's always giving his bowl a chance. He can play all the difficult shots. He can play the sweet draw shots, and it wouldn't be for the lack of his trying that they're trying to get that rink up, but it doesn't count now. The big thing for them is this afternoon.
Has narrowed a little on Brian Wilcock versus Peck. They've picked up a few shots there, Wilcock. 13-6, they're down. But the real damage being done here. Brett Foley up 22-6 over Mick Story.
Michael Fasuco's just sneaking one in there. Probably sound like a broken record on this guy, but two short bowls, or sorry, a short bowl there from Brett Innes, and then his next bowl in the ditch makes the skipper's job very difficult.
It certainly does, and Mick Story goes up the other end, contemplating a scene of heartache at the other.
I don't think he'll be a shattered man. He's probably had a situation in the past where he's not been able to do anything to help the day, but to help the cause. The best thing is that the sun will come up tomorrow. It's another day. But they're a pretty well oiled and pretty well drilled combination, this four from Altona. And I think the leadership of Brett Foley in this game has been superb. He's shown them the way since the very first end, when he played a magnificent well-weighted bowl to sit a bowl out for four. Picture of concentration still on this 15th end, and that's the name of the game, concentration. Back your skill, which he's got plenty of. Hasn't played that with the same intent. Dropped a little short. Let's see if Brett Foley can finish this off with a flourish. Pick up another multiple score end. He's done that. He's done that. That's a great bowl, Brett Foley. He's drawn the absolute shot here. I think he's probably holding the better part of 5.
There's a couple coming out
3.
there. 3 out. 4.
4.
Yeah, I think they're calling it 4 there. So a win, and a very comfortable one indeed, to Brett Foley in his rink. Colin Davis, Dion Warnecke, Michael Vasico, and Brett Foley picking up a 4 there. 26-6 over Mick Story. It's a big win in that rink. Altona will win this overall. We'll just switch over to the closing stages of a rink in which Buninyong have done very well. This is Ian Voigt, Graeme Nicholson, Keith Chapman and Neil Innes, the skip from Buninyong, against Altona's Mick O'Neill, Brendan Barker, Dane McKinnon and Nathan Wilson. And right now, 14-10, Innes over Wilson. But overall, Altona well in control. Nathan Wilson on the mat now.
The last end being played between Lakes Entrance and Queenscliff, and it is a cliff hanger. We have Queenscliff in front 41-39. Now the shot difference here is the all important facet of this rink. If Queenscliff draw 1 shot and get 3 in front, it'll come to account back on percentage. If they can score a 2, they'll get through by the narrowest of shot margin. Lakes Entrance have to try and keep that, I think, to 2. If they can keep that to 2, they are a chance. Just having a look at it, Guy. If it was to be 3 and the shot difference was tied, looking at it, Queenscliff have had the least shots scored against them, so this could possibly be another avenue for Queenscliff to make it.
Either way, that's going to, you would think, if it stays the way it is, it's going to come down to cards, and it's going to come down to the side office over there.
It'll come down to the bowls office to determine that one.
Very much so. So that one might, we will absolutely keep you up to date with how that match finishes. If it does finish in the bowls office, and we suspect that it will, the best place to find out how that match goes and how the ladder is to go to www.bowlsvic.org.au in about a half hour's time. And go to the results and ladder for Section B, and that'll tell you who tops it. So right now, Queenscliff up by 2. That won't be enough. Queenscliff win by 3. We're going to count back. If Queenscliff win by 4, they're probably through. If Lakes Entrance win, they're through. But we've got a feeling this one might be decided in the bowls office afterwards.
I'm looking straight down the venue here. I can see the end rink where they're playing, the end green where they're playing. So I'll watch the reaction of the players and the crowd. There's a great crowd of onlookers there following this match. So all the people from down at the borough of Queenscliff and the beautiful Victorian Riviera, which is Lakes Entrance down there on the 90 Mile Beach. Queenscliff doing everything they have to do. 2 up. They need to make 2. The other thing that's against them too, Guy, with this is the time. They called the 10-minute time call just shortly ago.
we can tell you there's about 7 minutes left in the overall picture here. So here it's Nearliness up by 4, 14-10. But Altona have won this match. We'll keep across how this one goes. We'll watch the closing few shots of this. But we'll also try and update you from the Queenscliff Lakes entrance match going on one of the outside greens. But we think that one is going to be decided in the bowls office afterwards. It could well come down to shot percentage.
And last end in play, so...
Yep.
Richie McGovern, Tim Smith, Nick Tate and Luke Waith playing that last end up on rink 17. And they're against Scotty Davidson, Paul Darling, Harley Johnson and Kevin Dowie from Lakes Entrance. So can Dowie be a hero or can Waith be the hero?
Well, interestingly, Kevin Dowie comes in with a bit of form, and he and his wife made the quarterfinals, I believe, of the mixed pairs, state mixed pairs. So they bring in a bit of form with them. Luke Waith, we caught a bit of him yesterday, and he was in pretty good nick for Queenscliff. So we will update you as much as we can.
Dane McKinnon there, sneaking in. All three players there. Mick O'Neill, Snowy Barker, Dane McKinnon have all got a bowl in the count. Holding 3.
It's Keith Chapman here for Buninyong.
Just getting the back edge of the jack. The catches of the Altona boys holding good stead there. There's a bit of a team meeting going on the middle green there, which is blocking my view. I could see the head before on that Lakes Entrance and Queenscliff match. As soon as they move, I'll be able to see what the lie is, although it's a long way away.
Great bowl from Dane McKinnon there in the interim.
Yep.
Holding a couple.
Top shot. I think Kevin Dowie just played his first bowl and got nothing. And we don't know what the situation is of how many and who's got them.
So thanks to the Moama Bowling Club here, we'll be updating you on that match, and we'll have someone from Moama tell us how that match finishes, and we'll have that for you before the end of this telecast here. Nathan Wilson, state player, former Australian Open champion on the mat now for Altona.
If Queenscliff score 3, Guy, on percentage, they could get through. So currently, they're on 41. If they were to score 3 and go to 44, 30, sorry, 2.
2 would take it to 43, 39.
Well, 4 shots is what they need. If they were to score 1 and get to 42, 39, I'll just do the quick maths.
One comes out there. Zenas has taken 1 out, and we're done on this rink. So that'll be 1 shot to Altona to finish off. So it'll be a 14-11 loss to Nathan Wilson on this rink. But it won't matter, because Altona have won this match. They've won Section A, and they will be playing in this afternoon's grand final. And their opponent, well, we're still not sure, because that is come down to the very last end of a match on an outside green. That is between Queenscliff and Lakes Entrance Queenscliff going into the last end were up by 2 shots. They're up 41-39 over Lakes Entrance. Queenscliff needing to win by 4 to go through. Lakes Entrance win the match. They are through. If it's won by 2 or 3, we're in a very, very big grey area, and the time, and we're out of time. So they will have to finish this end that they're on now.
Depending on, well, they've finished, dependent upon what the score is. If Queenscliff score the 3 to tie up the actual shot difference, Queenscliff will go through by percentage 130 to 127.9.
So just to bring you up to date with where we're at, going to the last end, Queenscliff up by 2, 41-39. Bridgie, you've done the maths on this, and this is on an outside green, so we obviously cannot show you this at the moment. We're simply not set up for that. So as it stands at the moment, 42-39.
Here comes our runner.
In fact, we've got our runner.
So they've won by 3.
Oh boy, we're into the bowls office.
Which means that I believe that Queenscliff will win on percentage.
Thanks, Zane McInlorry, for bringing us up to date. Zane will be joining us a little later for the final. Whoever that's between will definitely be Altona. But right now, Queenscliff have won that 42-39. So we're going to the bowls office to decide that one, because that's not enough. That's not enough for them to go through directly. It's going to have to come down to shot percentage.
Yep.
So
Lakes Entrance will be probably the hard luck story of the event.
if they were to miss out, they still might get through though. So
I think they've got to go back and do a count, make sure that all the cards and the results are what they are, that there's been no mistake, and that there's definitely, and I would say that what's entered onto the system so far is correct. And it's usually the case when a side has a least amount of shots scored against it, that they'll get through on percentage, and in this instance it looks to me like it'll be Queenscliff. They've scored 208 in total, but they've dropped only 160 shots, so whereas Lakes Entrance have scored 220 accumulative in their 5 games, they've had 172 shots scored against them. So you divide the shots against into the shots scored, multiply by 100, and there's your percentage.
So there we go. So just to bring you up to date, Section A, it's over. Altona have won their match here against Buninyong. They're through. They're top of Section A. They will play in the grand final this afternoon. Section B match that matters, Queenscliff have had a win, 42-39 over Lakes Entrance. That match, we don't know. That's going to the bowls office to be decided on calculations, and it'll be done on shot percentage. We should know in about 15 to 20 minutes. We will come back round about 1 o'clock with our grand final. Will be between Altona and either Queenscliff or Lakes Entrance. If you want to find out what's going on in the interim, about 20 minutes or so when the calculations are done, go to www.bowlsvic.org.au. Take a look at Section B, and you'll have your winner. Until then, it's Guy Hand and Graeme Bridge signing off. We'll see you this afternoon with Zane McInlorry to bring you all the action of the 2018 Champion of State Pennant Grand Final.
Looking forward
Get ready to create desserts your own way. Simply choose your ice cream or yogurt, then select your toppings and your sprinkles, and enjoy. It's eat-in and takeaway, it's for young and old. It's frozen and sprinkled, it's sprinkled. Exceptional food, excellent service and affordable prices, set in contemporary and stylish surrounds. The bistro is an excellent choice for dining. Experience it for yourself. Call now to reserve your table.
Are you ready for epic? Claim your free trial online or in club today and join the gym where 500,000 hearts beat as one. Anytime fit.